Hi Kikis, Zee here. I'm going to read you a story tonight, one of my favorites. I'll share that in a second. But before doing that, let me show you something that I bet you've missed for a while. Look. This is the aquarium. See all the fish? I'll get closer. Let's see if they can see any of the fish better. See, there's still some baby fish there. Okay, so let's go over here and sit down. Today we're in my office, which is different than our chairs in the other room. There we go. Hope that doesn't fall out. Okay, ready? This is one of my favorite books, the Dr. Seuss Sleep Book. Okay, ready? So let's read this. It says, this book is meant to read in bed. So you can get in bed with this, but no, you can't. Well, maybe you can read on somebody's phone. Okay, ready? The news just came in from the county of Geck that a very small bug by the name of Van Vleck is yawning so wide you can look down his neck. This may not seem very important, I know, but it is, so I'm bothering to tell you so. See? A yawn is quite catchy, you see, like a cough. It just takes one yawn to start other yawns off. Now the news has just come from some friends of Van Vleck's are yawning so wide you can look down their necks. At this very moment right now, under 7 more noses, great yawns are in blossom, they're blooming like roses. The yawns that one little bug is still spreading, according to latest reports, it is heading across the white fields to the sleepy night air, across the whole country towards every which aware, and people are gradually starting to say, I feel rather drowsy, I've had quite a day. Creatures are starting to think about rest. 2 biffer-bomb birds are now building their nest. They do it each night, and quite often I wonder how they do this big job without making a blunder. But that is their problem, not yours and not mine. The point is, they're going to bed, and that's fine. See the biffer-bomb birds? Sleep thoughts are spreading throughout the whole land. The time for night brushing of teeth is at hand. Up at Herkheimer Falls, where the great river rushes and crashes down crags in great gargling gushes, the Herkheimer sisters are using their brushes. Those falls are just grand for toothbrushing beneath, if you happen to be up that way with your teeth. See, they're brushing their teeth. The news just came in from the castle of Krupp that the lights are all out and the drawbridge is up, and the old drawbridge drawer just said with a yawn, my drawbridge is drawn and is going to stay drawn till the milkman delivers the milk about dawn. I'm going to bed now, so nobody better come round here with a special delivery letter. See, there he is way up there. See? The number of sleepers is steadily growing. Bed is where more and more people are going. In Culpeper Springs, where the stilt walkers haul, and the stilt walkers' stilts are all stacked on the wall, the stilt walkers have called it a day. They're all tuckered out and are snoozing away. And this is very big news. It's important to know. And that's why I'm bothering to tell you so. Way out in the west in the town of Merced, the Hinklehorn Honking Club just went to bed. Every horn has been quietly hung on a hook for the night in its own private Hinklehorn nook. All this long happy day they've been honking about, and the Hinklehorn honkers have honked themselves out. but they'll wake up quite refreshed in the morning, and then they'll start right on Hinklehorn honking again. See, they're all asleep there, and those are their horns. Everywhere creatures are falling asleep. The collapsible frink just collapsed in a heap, and by adding the frink to the others before, I'm able to give you the Who's Asleep score. Right now, 40,404 creatures are happily, deeply in slumber. I think you'll agree that's a whopping fine number. Oh, this is one of my favorite pages here. Counting up sleepers, just how do they do it? Really quite simple. There's nothing much to it. We find out how many, we learn the amount by the audio-teleo-talio count. On the mountain halfway between Reno and Rome, we have a machine in a plexiglass dome, which listens and looks into everyone's home, and whenever it sees a new sleeper go flop, it jingles and lets a new bingo ball drop. Our chap counts these balls as they plop in a cup, and that's how we know who's down and who's up. See, he's counting there, the little bingo balls drop. Do you talk in your sleep? It's a wonderful sport, and I have some news of the sport to report. The world champion sleep talkers, Joe and Mo Redzoff, have just gone to sleep and they're talking their heads off. For 55 years now, each chattering brother has babbled and gabbled all night to each other. They've talked about laws, they've talked about gauze, they've talked about paws, and they've talked about flaws. They've talked quite a lot about old Santa Claus. And the reason I'm telling you this is because you should take up this sport. It's just fine for your jaws. Your jaws are your mouth. See, they're talking to each other. Do you walk in your sleep? I just had a report of some interesting news of this popular sport. Near Finnegan Fen, there's a sleepwalking group which not only walks, but walks a la hoop. Every night they go miles while they walk to such lengths, they have to keep eating to keep up their strength. So every so often one puts down his hoop, stops hooping, and does some quit snooping for soup. That's why they're known as the Hoop Soup Snoop group. See, they're pushing the hoops down the street looking for soup. Sleepwalking, too, are the curious crandalls who sleepwalk on hills with assorted-sized candles. The crandalls walk nightly in slumbering peace, in spite of slight burns from the hot dripping grease. The crandalls were candles because they walk far, and if they wake up, want to see where they are. This is a fun one. Now the news just has arrived from the Valley of Vale that a Chippendale mupp has just bitten his tail, which he does every night before shutting his eyes. Such nipping sounds silly, but it's really quite wise. He has no alarm clock, so this is the way. He makes sure he'll wake up at the right time of day. His tail is so long he won't feel any pain till the nip makes his trip and gets up to his brain. That's exactly out 8 hours. The Chippendale mupp will at last feel the bite and yell, "Ouch!" and wake up. See that long tail he's got. A Mr. and Mrs. J. Carmichael Crocs have just gone to bed near the town of Fort Knox, and they, by the way, have the finest of clocks. I'm not at all sure I quite understand just how the thing works with one extra hand. But I know this clock does one very slick trick. It doesn't tick-tock, how it goes is tock-tick. So with its ticks and its tockers and its tocks and its tickers, it saves lots of time and the sleepers sleep quicker. See? What a fine night for sleeping. From all that I hear, it's the best night for sleeping in many a year. They're even asleep at the Zweibeck Motel, and people don't sleep usually there too well. The beds are like rocks, and as everyone knows, the sheets are too short so they won't cover your toes. So if people are actually sleeping in there, it's a great night for sleeping. It must be the air. You see people sleeping in there? It's a great night for snores. I just had a report of some boys who are tops in this musical sport. The snoriest snorters in all of our fair land are Snore McPhail and his Snore Snoot Band. The band can snore Dixie and Old Swanee River so loud it would make 40 elephants shiver. The loudest of all the boys is McPhail. He snores with his head in a 3-gallon pail. So they snore in a cave 20 miles out of town. If they snored any closer, they'd snore the town down. We won't talk any more about snoring. Do you know who's asleep out in Funa Laguna? 2 very nice Funa Laguna baboona. We've added them to our Who's Asleep count, which has grown to a really amazing amount. Exactly 8,808,000 creatures are sleeping now. Isn't that great? Those are the Funa Laguna baboona, and they're up in the trees. This is a cute one. BB used to always think that looked like your mommy, your aunt, Stacy. I don't know, what do you think? Do you think that looks like her? Here, let's read it. A jet is in bed, and the bed of a jet is the softest of beds in the world, it is said. He makes it from pom-poms he grows on his head, and he's sleeping right now on the softest of fluff, completely exhausted from growing this stuff. The news just came from the district of Droft. The 2 oft are asleep, and they're sleeping aloft. And how they're able to sleep off the ground, I'll tell you. I weighed one last week, and I found that an off is so light it weighs minus 1 pound, which makes it float. Oh, this is a hard one to read. Ready? But it's fun. A moose is asleep and he's dreaming of moose drinks. A goose is asleep and he's dreaming of goose drinks. Well, that's well and good when a moose dreams of moose juice, and nothing goes wrong when a goose dreams of goose juice. But it isn't too good when a moose and a goose start dreaming they're drinking each other one's juice. Moose juice, not goose juice, is juice for a moose. And goose juice, not moose juice, is juice for a goose. So when a moose gets a mouthful of juices of gooses, and a moose gets a mouthful of juices of gooses, they always fall out of their beds screaming. So, I'm warning you now, never drink in your dreams. That's a tough one to read. Oh, you see it closer? See the moose juice and the goose juice? Speaking of dreaming, I think you should note that the Bumbletub Club is now dreaming afloat. Every night they go dreaming down Bumbletub Creek, except for one night every 3rd or 4th week when they stop for repairs cause their Bumbletubs leak. But tonight they're afloat full of dreams, full of bliss, and that's why I'm bothering to tell you this. See them floating down the river? At the fork of the road in the vale of Avode, 5 foot-weary salesmen have laid down their load. All day they've raced around in the heat at top speeds, unsuccessfully trying to sell scissors off seeds, which nobody wants because nobody needs. Tomorrow will come, they'll go back to their chore, they'll start on the road zizzer-zassing once more, but tonight they've forgotten their feet are so sore, and that's what the wonderful nighttime is for. See them asleep under there? Everywhere creatures have shut off their voices. They've all gone to bed in the bed of their choices. They're sleeping in bushes, they're sleeping in crannies, some on their stomachs and some on their fannies. They're peacefully sleeping in comfortable holes, some even in soft, tough barbershop poles. The number of sleepers is now past the millions. The number of sleepers is now in the billions. See them all sleeping all over the place? They're sleeping on steps and on strings and on floors, in mailboxes, ships, and keyholes of doors. Every worm on a fish hook is safe for the night. Every fish in the sea is too sleepy to bite. Every whale in the ocean has turned off his spout. Every light between here and Farfoodle is out. And now, adding things up, we are way past the billions. Our Who's Asleep score is now in the zillions. See, everybody is asleep all over the place. $99 zillion, 9 trillion and 2 creatures are sleeping. How about you? See all those creatures sleeping all over the place. When you put out your light, then the number will be 99 zillion, 9 million, and 3. Good night. So this was one of our favorite books. Actually, I think this was actually BB's when she was a little girl. So that's one of our favorite ones. I hope you enjoyed it. I always enjoy reading that one. Bye.